Hello, y'all. We're back very soon, the next day. Welcome to
Surprise!
welcome to Truth Runs Deep podcast. I'm Terryn,
I'm Kalli.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, SVU, the Mothership, organized crime, political, which is about today, fanfic writing, and more.
We
So, if
literally just
we just
finished
watched
watching
organized
the
crime, and
first
thought,
two episodes of Organized Crime. So
yeah, because
I
it
was
came out
like,
on
we should
Thursday during the
do
day.
this now.
But if you don't have Peacock, you can watch the first episode tonight. Well, it won't be tonight. It's our tonight, but y'all, I don't know what day will be able to start.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what they're doing with their second episode, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Because also showing the first episode, I wonder if they're gonna have to censor it because there's some words you cannot say in TV in there.
Oh, not just words.
There's some lot of blood.
Not just words.
There's some
We'll
blood.
get to it. We got a lot to say.
Okay.
I think
Overall, we'll make an overall thing of like we watched it and I can't say that it's good, okay? It's all right. It's
like
all right. Like I hope we can get some like incline of like quality of plot, okay?
it
We're
like
kind of
makes
at
me. I'm just curious of like what they had to change because they had like
they
them
said they changed.
the first.
Somebody who worked on the show was like on a Reddit post was like, we had to re-record a bunch of stuff because the network didn't like. So we don't know what the original stuff was, but they have changed.
All we know is our people are back.
Yes.
Sort of. We'll get to
So
that.
we watched it like 2 hours. We started watching it, so we like back to back. So we did that. So
All of our friends are like, "Is anybody gonna watch it?" So we don't have
we
to.
got on it. What tell
We
them
were
you
like,
could.
"Yes,"
Because
but
you are just
literally,
a lot of it out of context. The microphone's over here. That's I forgot to put the microphone
but
here.
as if you've been following us for a while, then you know that we watch for everybody except Elliot.
Yeah, literally. So we're gonna get started. So it's Lost 5-1 is Lost Highway. They don't have the intro like they don't have like in the nation's largest city. There's no in the like they're like words are not there anymore. There's no in the nation's largest city. I think it says what is it? I don't even know what it is. It's something about like criminals, and then it's like these are their stories, and then I don't remember the rest of it.
Criminals, underground, something.
Yeah, something like that. In the nation's largest, blah 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 blah. These are their stories. But so it starts off, and there's this body being burned, and there's a cop badge thrown on top of it, which is a little confusing. But I still never saw the correlation between that part either. But I guess they'll address this at some point. But anyway, so then that's kind of happens, and then they go to this. These people are talking. These bad guys are talking about that situation. Then there's this little girl. She's playing with her dolls. She's maybe 10, 12, 10 years old or so. They don't say how old she is, but she's playing with her dolls, having a tea party. You know how little kids do, There's somebody named Sad Eyes. There's a girl walks into the room being like, "Are you still playing with those toys?"
I'd say like 10.
Yeah. Somebody walks in, Sad Eyes, and it's like, "Are you still playing with those toys?" or something like that's kind of what she's saying to the little girl, and she's like, she's playing with her toys, Yeah. And then they hit us with the intro song. It's still the song. Yeah. It does kind of. I do like the organized crime song. It kind of hits though, but
And two things with the intro. We get a new photo of Ainsley with their short hair.
They never changed it since the first season.
They haven't changed it since their ponytail.
Exactly, and that was old.
No, and somebody put out a post on Twitter that it's like we're gonna be able to tell what organized crime season it is by Jet's hair, just like we did with Olivia, and that is very true. Because season 1, ponytail. Season 2, long straight hair. Season 3, bob. Season 4, bob. Season 5, pixie cut.
Pixie cut. So anyway, but they added Dean to the intro list, which is interesting because there's no other stable people but him. Obviously.
Well, it's getting that's nice though.
He was promoted to series regular, so I guess we're gonna see a lot of
him.
Because Dean is hilarious.
Yes, he is.
But anyway.
Okay, and then so they show Elliot in his apartment, and there's like baby stuff.
He's making some coffee
everywhere.
There's baby stuff, diapers and a car seat.
Because if you don't remember, Eli's girlfriend is pregnant.
Yeah.
He is gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
Elliot's gonna be a grandpa again.
Again. Again.
Yeah,
For the
no, I
third time.
almost the first time I remembered he has multiple ass kids.
We saw them like twice. We saw the grandsons like twice and then never
Yeah.
again. So it's hard. It's
So
easy to forget.
there's a knock on his door, and it's Belle, and we got Ayana with this. How would you describe her hair? Because
She
it's a
has like a
bun.
slick back ponytail. Well, it's not like it's like a curly ponytail, slick back, and she has some little like cornrows in the front.
Yes, thank you. I was like, we got to talk about all of Belle's hairstyles because that is
Yes.
important. Okay, so yeah, she walks in, and Elliot's like, "Hey, do you want coffee?" And then she's like,
It's
"I
early.
need you
You
to
want
go
some time?
undercover." And then he's like, so is that a no on the coffee?"
He's like, I really don't want to go for real with this. But
He's
he's
like,
Adam's saying no. Essentially, he's kind of being like,
he literally, for the first time fucking ever, said
does
no.
not want to go in the show.
Does not want to go. He's like, "Why don't you just have Reyes do it?" And then Ayana's like, "I know, but you're gonna
And
want to do this
you're gonna want to
because
do
not
this
only are they trafficking illicit substances,
in
they're
weapons
trafficking
and
women
women.
and possibly
Yes,
younger girls." And
yes.
you
Which
see
is
him
what
turn around, and then it's
he's
instant.
like.
Yep, okay, I'm
Yeah,
going.
he's
That
going.
like his
It's
uh,
scary. I know he's kind of like, we're gonna go.
top thing.
So then they go to the next scene where he's trying to apply for the job as the truck driver. And he kind of puts on this southern accent, but it's really, really bad.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on?
It's really bad, okay? As a native Alabamian, that's southern. I don't have an accent, but
No.
his accent is really bad, okay? It's terrible.
Yeah. And they bring back his undercover persona from last season, the one who
Yes,
worked at
he's the honey
the
farm.
honey farm, because the guy is looking over his resume and he's like, "What did you carry at this honey farm?" And he's like,
He's like
"Honey,
anything, everything, and anything else.
the things." Um, um, and then so he brings him outside, shows him his truck. He sees a bunch of these girls like just walking around the
Yeah,
area in a bunch of very unique short outfits.
yeah.
So we already know what's happening with that.
He's kind of just looking, kind of taking in the land. He's hired for the job, so he's kind of just looking.
He transitioned to the
The
precinct.
bureau.
Precinct
Their bureau.
Yeah, bureau, right. Thank you.
I don't know
Bureau.
what the difference is, but I don't know what the difference is, but they're a bureau. Not anyway.
Ayana is giving a debriefing about these guys. So it's three brothers, Vic, Steve, and
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't know.
we literally
I really don't know. We don't think we wrote it down ever again. So well, there's another one. There's three.
Michael.
Or maybe I don't know. We can write it down.
There's three of them anyway.
There's three of them. That's all that matters. Okay, it doesn't
And
even
she's
matter.
like, they have this company that they're soliciting substances, but also girls
across the border and girls to Canada and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And so then it cuts to Jet Reyes and Vargas, who we also have to say happy birthday, Tate, because we're actually recording.
It is your birthday.
Yes. So Vargas is back, and we got Jet and Reyes, and as everybody probably already predicted, Jet is a cat person because she has a little mug and it's shaped like a cat, a black cat specifically, which Ainsley does have a black cat, but also makes very much sense that Jet would be a black cat person.
Yes.
And so they're talking, and then all of a sudden this dude walks in.
He's kind of like, so he's like he works for the FBI, but he's kind of drilling into them really hard about like, oh, you need to, how is this going to work? Instead of drilling them into the plan.
Like, okay, you got this guy, your guy, can you do their job? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll just do surveillance and stuff. And then they're like, yeah, no, we're not doing cameras, and it's like, what the fuck are they supposed to do?
Exactly. He's kind of judging the plan rather harshly, and they're like, we
And
know.
then Reyes mentions he has like a CI that was able to talk to them because it was also like a biker gang or whatever too.
Reyes is getting a little pissed that they're kind of being
Reyes
undermined.
is getting pissed, and because the guy's like, "What you so does your CI have a name?"
He's like, "Yeah, you got a name."
And he's like, "Yeah."
He doesn't want. I don't think he.
And then
he would
says
tell them because they don't want him to go looking. They don't want the FBI to go looking. So he's like, "We're not
and says nothing else. And then the guy says something else, and then he starts getting like angry again. And then we see Jet put a hand on his arm to try to calm him down. To which I say, I thought we were done with this.
Exactly. I thought we were done with that. We said we were done with that.
I thought we were done with this. What the hell?
Exactly.
Make it make sense, guys.
Exactly. Like,
literally, you literally last season had Jet say it never should have happened in the fucking first place, and now this.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
And then Ayana was just having enough with this dude and got right in his face, and he's like, "Don't forget, you came to us.
Exactly. You want us to
know how to do our job.
Exactly.
And well, so let us do it." And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she calls Jet and Reyes, and I forgot.
Yeah, she tells Vargas to go set up a station for this guy.
After Jet put her hand on Reyes's arm, the camera cuts to Ayana looking at the two like, and then she calls them both into their office, and she's pretty much like, yeah, I don't care what he says. We need to keep on.
We do it our way.
How we usually do, and we're gonna keep an eye on Elliot.
Yeah.
And then Reyes is like, is there anything else? Is anything else you need? And then Ayana is like, unless you have something else. And the two of them kind of just quietly stand there, just like, nope. And they both leave.
Yeah.
Guys, what the hell?
Exactly. We gotta get together. Like, get it together.
I did see a few comments that somebody, I will mention their Twitter. Their name is Mac, and their Twitter username is Haley Upton. Fair enough, understandable. And they said that something along the lines of that we should have Malachi back, and I was like, yes. Especially
Malachi never left in our minds, okay? It never left, okay?
I was like, hey, in my opinion, this happened.
It never ended.
It never ended. No, we still haven't figured out how to explain what happened in season 4 in regards to that, but it's still happening.
Okay. Whatever we say in our minds, right? We should put us.
I don't know. I'm gonna text you.
Do you have anything to say as I keep? Okay, so if this is like important, I'm gonna keep talking.
No.
So Elliot meets the person that is named Sad Eyes. She is a worker at the place.
Yes, and they
work on that.
They're actually finally SVU and organized crime are doing these girls justice. That yes, they are kind of being trafficked, but they're also trying to provide for themselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes this is the only way that they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she meets the
girl. Sad Eyes kind of wants. It's like, if you need me for the night, and he's like,
yeah, I'm good. And she's like, all right, you're lost.
I'll still be here if you change your mind.
Like she's trying to do her job. Like
exactly. So then, they show the cuts in the nighttime.
Yeah, and Elliot is asleep in his car.
Truck.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he hears creaking. Yeah. And then he's
the door
reaching over into his bag, and he grabs a silver bat and sits up with it. And it's it's the little girl from before and the Tea Party. And it's like, great, Elliot, now you're scaring a fucking kid with a bat.
Yeah, he didn't know who was that. But he does redeem himself, so we won't be mad at him.
Yeah,
but
we find
he's like, what's your name?
Bunny.
Yeah, she says her name is Buttons. We don't know what her real name is,
Yeah,
but
they all
she
got like
goes by Buttons.
and then she's like, so, and then Elliot brings her back to like the
The room
motel
she came.
where she was staying. But then he's like, I need my bat back. And she's like, okay, $5.
$5.
$5.
He's
He's
what do
like,
you mean it's mine?
it's mine. And she's like,
Is it $5?
and gives her $5. And she's like, I need you to be careful. Not everyone's as nice as I am.
Yeah.
And it's like, with kids, yes.
Yeah. Well, he does. She does actually still take his wallet.
Of course. So
Again, she
back
pops him a
to her hotel room, and
takes his
Elliot's
wallet.
walking away, and he's got the bat. He's got the bat in his hand, and
you hear some rustling, some screaming.
And then all of a sudden, it's screaming, and there's a girl that's yelling, "Get off me! Get off me!" So he breaks in to the room with the bat, freaking shoves the guy off the bed with the bat, and is like, "Get off her!" And then the guy is not having it. He's like, "I paid for the hour." He's like, yeah.
Your hour's up.
And he has a knife, and then Elliot has a bat, so we got a knife bat fight. And then the brothers walk in, and they're like, what are you doing? This is literally a guy just agreed to do business with. And Elliot's like, I didn't know. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We transition to the next morning, and Randall is trying to baby-proof the house. But according
okay, think about that. Okay, I have a critique about why you don't typically baby-proof immediately because babies don't go anywhere. You usually wait till they're mobile. So I was like, why are they baby-proofing the house for a newborn?
Because you think they're gonna remember to do it later?
No, okay, no. But realistically, you don't baby-proof till they're mobile, and this
they're
not
not
even born yet.
Remember to do it.
Yeah, but like,
and honestly,
anyway.
if I was a cop, I would probably want to do try to do it earlier too, considering I got weapons.
Exactly true. Your weapons should be secure, hopefully.
And then we get a little thing of Becky calls Bernie Nana, which is so cute.
Yeah, I know. Because she's making some food and she's like, that's too much food. She's like, we'll freeze it for later.
Yeah. And then we get Eli walking into the room in his like academy outfit, and his hair
he's about to do his first like with his training officer. He's about to spend his first day with his training officer. That's what he's about to do.
And yeah, and he's like, okay, bye. And then they leave, and Becky and him leave, and Bernie goes to Randall. Oh, he reminds me of your father. And he goes, oh, way to ruin the moment, Ma.
Exactly, because it's not like
because
this man was a good person.
Randall is the one who knows the truth of how bad that is. So he's no, great.
He's like, no, you don't want to be like.
Want to hear it? No. And
but she says I've heard from Joe Jr. in that. Okay, she says she thought Joe Jr. would be the one who would be the police officer, and it's not.
And he's like, yeah, well, we don't really know where it is right now. And she's like, yeah, he's in Switzerland. And I was like, what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he called me the other day. And he's like, okay. Next time he calls you, you tell him I said hi. He's not believing her in the slightest.
Exactly. I know. This was mentioned in an article that was mentioned in an article somewhere, but it's like
I do think he actually is.
Yeah, he does love his mother. We know Joe Jr. was the most like loving back towards Bernie. Like, yeah, that's her baby boy. Like,
and we do know that, yes, Bernie does have dementia and is losing things. But when she starts talking about important shit, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the precinct and we get Belle in this gorgeous tan outfit. They given Ayana colors this season. Hell yeah! Little vest. Yes. Bring on the lesbian wardrobe. Yay. Is that okay to say?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because yes. And then they're talking, yes, the FBI dude was hiding things from them because Jet got like a recording from one of her friends that like told them there's more to this operation than originally planned. And it turns out that it's not so good, but we'll get to that later. They also showed a shot of Jet's desk. She still has the octopus, y'all.
Yeah.
She
I didn't
still
miss that part. I might have zoned out, but
and the octopus was a gift for Malachi, according to We Sam. So
yeah,
maybe we're not so crazy after all.
maybe. Because streaming shows are way more secretive about what they film. It's not like, we might
We
be spoiling
literally
some stuff.
don't know. Yeah.
Um,
So then
so
we get Elliot talking to another girl.
she goes by Cricket.
Cricket. So like
She's
they
trying to
all
make some money.
say things.
Yeah.
And she like really cares for Bunny. And then we see
She's braiding Bunny's hair. She's making two little braids for Bunny. I think that's what it says.
that's Sad Eyes, I think. Sad Eyes is braiding Bunny's hair, and Cricket sees Elliot looking at her and he's like trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's a little confusing all this.
Like the girls are all talking about you for what you did last night.
Again.
Thank you. And then then they show the braiding, and it's like, well, these girls really do care about each other. So then the brothers call Elliot in, and they're like, because you screwed up last night, you're going on a drive with Vic to do the next shipment. And so they got Elliot in the passenger seat, Vic is driving, and the dude that Elliot
beat up last night in the middle.
And so they're talking, and all truck drivers have these things called handles, which is like a nickname they use on the radio. And so all of a sudden, one of them goes, Romeo, where the fuck are you, Romeo? And it's like, oh yeah, we're swearing now.
Yeah, that wasn't the first. I think it's like the first scene. I think has the first like fuck in it. I can't remember.
It's like, oh,
but
okay, it's totally
we're
natural.
Like, all right, we can say that word now.
Then they go to stop somewhere, make a quick.
Yeah, he's like, we taking a stop. And you're like,
and we see this dude, and we know he was in the promo as one of the bad guys. Yeah. So, we'll get to that because it's not until the next episode, and I don't want to jump ahead. Anyway, so they talk to that bad guy, and then they go talk to their new business partners. Some of them literally have fucking burlap sack bags.
It's kind of scary. It's dark and it's lit by fire. It's kind of scary out there.
Like, it looked like a weird ass cult.
It does. It was scary. They're like, what's happening?
Even the guys are like, I don't know
like,
why the fuck they wear those.
It's like, because he and Elliot make a joke about like, he's like, they wear those masks, and he's like, masks? He's like, that's actually kind of funny. Anyway.
And so anyway, they're talking, and then the head guy notices that
what on?
Guy beat up, and is like, which one of you beat up my guy? And the guy like looks at Elliot, and he's like, sorry, I didn't know who he was. It was a misunderstanding. And then you think that's it, and then the guy literally pulls a weapon out of his bag and shoots the guy right in front of them. And you see the blood.
Yeah, so normally you don't see the blood in TV-14, so there's literally like a
for you. The rating. They are showing the rating.
Yes.
Oh, and then they burn his body.
Yeah. The guy like lights his cigarette and is like puts the match in the
Elliot's literally just standing there like hell.
Like, we know you've seen some stuff, but this is
we know he's seen stuff. This is definitely new. And so the guys are talking as they're putting the shipments in, and they're like, I hope you're okay, because I mean that wasn't too much
That
even
was a
for
lot.
me. And
All right,
he's like,
keep talking.
yeah, what? Oh, okay. I'll keep talking while Terryn
Keep
does.
talking. I'll be right.
Okay. So yeah, so they transition to the next morning, and Elliot sees Bunny again, little girl, and she like takes a picture of him with like this Polaroid camera, and he's like, I didn't give you permission to do that. Give that back. And she's like, okay, $2. She's like, 7. She's like, no. And he's like, okay, fine, $10, and you come eat breakfast with me. Which was a little weird because, dude, you can't just have breakfast with the little girl. Totally out of the blue. Um, and so she sits down and she takes like one of those like wrapped honey buns out of her bag, and that's what she wants for breakfast. And then we see her bag, and she's got like energy drinks and pretty much anything she was able to get her hands on. To which I believe that Jet would have liked this girl because it's like, okay, stealing on her own, badass, yes. Um, then they see out of the corner of their eye the girl that Elliot saved the other night and Cricket are talking and hugging, and Elliot's like, "What's up with them?" And she goes, "Oh, she's just sad. Pebbles is sad because her girlfriend, Sad Eyes, is gone. Then she didn't come back last night." It's like, oh, they're dating.
Okay, I'm back. Oh, did you talk about the part where Bunny tries to wants to take his? I mean, he's
Yeah.
like, "What do you want for breakfast?" She gets a honey bun.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Seriously, that's all you want?" And she's like,
Yeah. And I was like, her bag of random stuff reminds me of Jet.
"Yeah." So I guess she's bummed off people. She's
You go, girl. Um, and then so even though the FBI is like, no, you can't check your friends,
yeah, like
yeah,
yes, like yeah.
out him. So they're talking to him, and she's like, you good? He's like, well, I've almost had my head blown off twice in the past 24 hours. And she goes, well, that's one less than usual.
Yeah. Always at risk. I mean,
So she gives him the update of what happened last night, and she's like, okay, we're going to keep going so we can get these guys, the Three Kings, and then the Coyotes, which is the gang that they're working with.
the one.
And Elliot's like, how? And the camera turns, and we see Reyes in like construction gear putting a tracker on Elliot's truck.
They don't. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're gonna follow it.
We're gonna do our shit. So shush.
Exactly. She gives him a phone, also being like, take this.
Yeah. And she shows him a picture of Eli. It's his first official picture.
Yeah.
As a police cadet.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, he's like, where'd you get that? She said, oh, your brother sent it to me. And he's like, yeah, I was like, since when are you and my brother best friends? And she goes, I got a lot of besties you don't know about. So then we transition to, we see Sad Eyes is tied up and in the back of a truck.
Yeah, but it's like a cold truck, like a keep cold kind of
rolls
regular.
Like rolls over, and she sees a girl that is literally dead and frozen next to her, and she screams.
Yeah.
And so, so then we go back to the bureau. Sad Eyes, her real name is Luisa Diaz. They find out that unfortunately this is much, much worse than originally planned, because Vargas did some work and he found all these like different like markers on the Route I-90, and all of those markers are a body of a dead girl.
Yeah. police have not been keeping up with. They know about it, but haven't been keeping up with.
Yeah, and like, what do you mean? And Jet's like, well, they're too busy trying to hit their quotas. So at first it starts with 12.
Yeah, no, right.
Then he drags out the map.
Across the state, so it's a whole
36 total murders. And he's like, these are the ones that we know about.
It's plenty more.
And you see Jet, like, her eye getting, like, teary-eyed and, like, taking a gulp. Like, she looks heartbroken. Like, literally all these girls are her age.
Yeah.
So then we transition to, back to Elliot's house, and they're having a party for Eli. One of his friends goes up to grab something from the girl, and Randall hits him with the
because he has the bun for his hamburger, and he's like, "Can I have some?" He's like,
"No." And then he looks at his nephew, and he's like, "Will you explain the rules of the grill to this barbarian?"
And he's like, we eat when he
eats." Yeah. Then we go back to the truck yard, and Elliot cannot find Bunny. And so he's like asking the brothers, "Where is she?" And they're like, "Oh, he was with Steve. She last seen with Steve." So he goes to talk to Steve, and Steve is a bit occupied at the moment. Elliot doesn't care. He literally like throws him against the wall, starts hitting her until he tells him where she is. And so Elliot literally rushes out of the office, doesn't even bother going down the stairs, just hops over the railing, jumps into Steve's truck, and Vic sees him.
Is this the truck that he's like driving? Is he like his, like...
Oh yeah. So anyway, he jumps into the truck, and Vic sees him and is like, "Oh no!" So Vic gets his like 10
semi, like the semi, like
thingy,
without the back part of it. It's just like the front part of it,
and starts to follow him. We do find out that these guys call these girls lot lizards, which to Elliot did not like, so he punished him again.
Yeah.
And
so, like, because if they changed, there's a lot more blood from when they punch people in the show. It's not like,
his hand, and
he's like, and it's more like sometimes with like TV-14 shows, the blood doesn't look as real, but like it looks a whole more like realistic. Like he's like,
yeah. So then we have, so Elliot is like talking to his squad. He's like, "She's gone. Like, I gotta find out where she is." He's going to that location, and he finds a truck just sitting in the middle of a lot. And he opens it, and it's empty, but he hears some like knocking in the back. And so he goes to the back, and there's this hidden compartment. And he opens it, and Bunny is there tied up and gagged. Yeah. Forgot to mention earlier that all of the murders had one thing in common, and it was that all of these girls were tortured and sexually abused.
Yeah. So he was like, "This cannot happen."
So, and now he found the little girl. He ain't happy. So he, all of a sudden, there's this guy that's in the back of the truck that goes to attack him, and he manages to hit him with the bat multiple times. And then he like picks Bunny up, puts her over his shoulder, walks to his truck, and it's like, "Okay, go."
Buckles her in, puts her in the back, and is like, "Lay down." And she can't see.
Buckle up. And I was like, okay, Elliot gets a pass for this episode.
We usually don't condone violence. I guess today's it's fine.
We do if it's in regards to children.
Yes. This is the only time we've been doing it.
And he goes, "Are you okay?" And the poor girl's just in the back, like, I don't know.
He's like, "You want some ice cream? I'll take you to get some ice cream."
And in the point of them stopping and talking about, "Hey, I'll get you some ice cream,"
Because Elliot kind of like turns around in like a grassy area and is about to like pull back off again because he's being followed.
Yeah,
So
and turns
the like front of his truck is like, okay, so it's like, okay, so we're gonna use their visual of my hands here. So like he's like off in the grass like here, and then the road is here. So like, but his truck is a little bit in the road, so but not like all the way in the road. So when the semi comes, he boned on the driver's side by the
yeah. So Vic has been chasing him this whole time, and so they have that happen. And as he's stopping and about to get back on the road, boom. And so now we know that it's worse than the promo showed because the girl is in the back. The car flips 3 times. And literally the end of the episode is we just hear a monitor beeping.
Yeah. Yep. And then it goes to the next one.
All right. I give this one 3 stars.
Yeah.
Wasn't good, wasn't bad.
So this is the one that our ops were looking forward to. But I don't know if they can be happy about it.
All right,
Written
girl,
by Christopher Maloney himself. Is Dante's Inferno.
Forever to figure out what you meant by ops.
The opposition, the
I mean, and this is the one that I was looking forward to because we knew this is when Jet was going undercover. We'll get to that because oh shit, you gotta break that down.
Yeah, that's towards the end. But
okay. So yes, we start with Belle is with Elliot in the hospital. He's got like these giant red spots all over his bald head.
Yeah, it's a lot of cut from the glass from the like semi hitting him, and then they're like talking. I'm pretty certain that's what that is. I think that's the glass from the one the car glass.
That makes sense. Then there's the
yeah, they're like Ayana's with him, kind of like next it's called like then they go back to the party because it's like right after. There's no like
they're all having fun and everybody's great.
He's like Party Central.
Phone rings and Randall picks it up. Party Central.
And then his face drops because you don't get the other person on the other phone. You just see his face drop.
Like, yeah. And yikes. Then we transition back to the hospital, and we can see that Elliot's in his hospital bed, but everything is really foggy.
Yeah. Like this it's interpreted. It's a dream, but as a viewer, you know it's a dream. But
he's walking around and like no one's noticing him, no one's talking to him.
He doesn't. It's but the way he visualizes the hospital isn't like a current day hospital, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like
imagines in like 80s, 90s, like 70s, 80s type kind of hospital kind of thing. By the way, the nurses are dressed. You kind of have this like older view of the hospital, not like a.
And he sees a little bunny in the hallway, like an actual bunny this time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he hears Olivia's voice. And then that's when you realize, oh, okay, he's dreaming.
Yeah.
And it pretty much transitioned to the family arriving at the hospital. Everybody like hugging and checking in with each other, and we find out that he is going to possibly be unresponsive and in a coma for 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, he's got a pretty brain injury,
positive
brain injury from. Yeah, but I wonder how they're gonna talk about this later because there's no way he's just like free balling after. I guess we're kind of spoiling the end. Maybe he goes on doing more stuff after this. Obviously, he doesn't.
And it's him. They're gonna let him anyway.
Exactly. Or like. Anyway, there's no logic sometime in this writing. Okay, for real. Anyway,
so yeah, they go back to the hospital. Randall takes Bernie to the hospital room, and we see Eli walk out, and Eli's crying, and he hugs him. He's like, "It's gonna be okay." And then Bernie
losing both parents. Be already welcome.
Literally,
this is a big.
And then Bernie sees Olivia, and she goes, "I knew you'd be here." And Olivia goes, "Of course." And they hug because yes.
Yeah, she does have very much
care. And This is literally where I was like, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but Olivia and Randall are wearing the same color.
Yeah.
Almost. And you pointed out that at least Olivia looks good. Yes. And then so they're talking to Bernie and they're pretty much like, so it was recommended that we might need a priest.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean we need a priest? And he's like, oh, they're saying that he had like a TBI. I don't remember what that means. And then Olivia's like traumatic brain injury, and it could be either
because he really is walking around with traumatic brain injury to this day. Like,
as mild as a concussion or coma and worse.
Really, yeah.
And Bernie's like, no, I don't want or need one. And then Randall's like, I know, but it's not about what we want. It's about what Elliot wants, and we have to make that decision for him. And then we get the line that we saw in the promo, Bernie looking at Elliot, do not make me bury you. And I was like, okay, I'll give Chris that one. That was a good one. It then transitions back to the three brothers fighting. And they're pretty much like, you were supposed to stop him, not kill him, you idiot. And then all of a sudden we hear cop sirens outside, and it's like, they're like, shit.
Exactly.
And so they all go to walk outside, and Ayana and the FBI dude are standing there. And the guy turns around. Oh, I forgot to say it. One of the brothers is like, you hit him with a 10-ton tractor, you dumbass.
Exactly. Like, we thought he was gonna live, but they're not sure that he was gonna live. But you know, if he died, it'd be a problem. I mean, the coppers are coming.
Yeah, and so they see the cops, and the guy immediately runs away. And then Ayana is like, Reyes, Jet, go get him. Okay. I'm not gonna chase him. Go get him. And so we see the guy. They have their weapons drawn. We see the guy. He's Vic, the one who hit him. In his office, sitting in his chair with a weapon under his chin. And both of them are desperately trying to get him to
like, don't do
down. No.
And he chooses not to.
And he offed himself in front of them.
Yes.
And you can see the Jet is visibly shaken because Reyes has probably seen that before, unfortunately. Jet, no. And so she's literally shaking. There's blood. The guy is dead. Yeah.
It wasn't as graphic as like you would think. For once, this wasn't. I mean, it was graphic, but like I was.
So right now, trauma count for Jet 1.
It's a long list.
We'll get to it. Yeah. So they arrest everybody, and then we go back to the hospital, and Randall's talking to his brother, and he's basically like, "You're a mess. You're still running around, still thinking you can impress Dad, you son of a bitch. The fuck you doing? What the fuck are you doing?"
Exactly. Randall's like, because that's something they've talked about for a long time, that like Elliot unintentionally wants to be like his father, but you know, you can't impress a ghost in a sense.
And then it goes, he starts to choke up, and he's like, I hated you a long time, but I love you. He's like, he doesn't lose his brother.
That's his little brother, because his other little brother is gone.
You don't know where his little brother is right now.
Possibly was one question mark.
Okay. So then we get Olivia walking in, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt." He's like, "It's fine." And then she's like, "Oh, you must be his brother, Randall." And he goes, "Yep, the better looking older brother."
Like,
dude, your brother is literally comatose in the hospital bed. Now it's not
awkward here.
Time.
This is awkward. This is awkward.
And then he's like, "You guys are like partners, friends."
It's like, Yeah,
And
been
she's
long
like,
for a long
yeah,
time.
we've known each other for a really long time.
And you're like, since how long? She's like, since the first day,
Yeah. And then literally we get so this is the comment that Terryn mentioned yesterday that everyone thought was fake.
Yeah,
It's
but it was
not. They literally get a pause, and you get Randall looking at
because, yeah, I
Olivia.
guess if for context, yesterday Chris did a Q&A kind of thing that was a lot of people asked questions about different stuff, and they were like, somebody asked something how we got on this topic of like, no, that was for real. He's like, no, that line actually is in there about this brisket.
Yeah, and then he literally looks at Olivia, and he puts on like a the sailor smile on his face, and he's
Yeah.
like,
You like brisket? I'll make
"You like
some
brisket?"
Yeah.
And Olivia's like, "I'm sorry,"
Yeah,
and he's
she
like,
was
"Yeah,
confused. So.
I'll make you some brisket. I'll make you some brisket sometime. It's the best in the world." And he describes it, and I'm just literally like, "Dude, you were literally flirting with her
Yeah,
while your brother's fucking could be dying."
yeah. Well,
But I mean, I don't blame him. Like literally,
she is.
like Randall sees a fucking hot woman. Fair enough. Shoot your shot, man.
Mhm.
And I think I made a prediction about this months ago
Mhm.
that Randall was going to try to flirt with Olivia.
Yeah, we know.
Um, and then Olivia's like trying to play it along because she's like, "What the
She's
fuck
like,
is happening
she's
right
like, I'll
now?
make the coleslaw, and he's like, no, I'll make the
I'll do
coleslaw.
it."
And it's
And then all of a sudden we hear Elliot go,
the
"Hers is
coleslaw.
better."
But how? That doesn't even make sense. But okay, I was like, that doesn't make sense.
I
When did
think
she make the coleslaw?
Olivia's coleslaw is better. I don't know.
I was like, this is when did she make some? Okay, we're like,
I don't know. And he
anyway,
goes,
they didn't.
you scared the shit out of me. How long have you been awake?
Exactly.
And
This is like this
literally,
whole conversation.
so many comments were so funny. It's like, of course, the dude would fucking wake up when his brother's trying to flirt.
Yeah, I was like, when I'd be like, who wrote this? And I'd be like, Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Elliot's kind of having another dream.
Because
They kind of
he's
follow up
having Olivia he's asking Olivia like about Bunny because he hasn't heard anything about
Yeah.
her, and she's like, yeah, she's okay.
She's in the children's ward. No.
Yeah. And then so we get another Elliot dream. His
But it's Bunny. This time
his
it's Bunny for real.
like, here, take your medicine. He takes his medicine, and it's like, try to eat something before you go to sleep. And
He didn't, so that's probably why he's seeing some crazy stuff. But
he sees a donut on the table,
Oh.
and he sees a hand reaching for the donut, and it's
a
Bunny
little snatching.
around, checking on him.
Mhm. He's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "The hospital's boring."
It's boring. And she shows him this necklace, and the necklace says, "I'm a Catholic. In case of an emergency, call a priest."
Mhm.
It's like, okay.
She puts it on him, and then
And she's like, "You like saving people? You like helping people?"
he's like, "Yeah."
Like, yeah. And he's like, "Cool. I need you to save Sad Eyes. Promise?" And he's like, "Promise."
Mhm.
And then she grabs her backpack and she walks away and she goes, "I got stuff to do. So do you."
Exactly. Reading it
Then,
over a second time makes it. We'll say what we're gonna say later, because like
yeah.
reading it through a second time, you're like, man.
So then we get transition back to Sad Eyes, and Sad Eyes has finally arrived at the location and whatever. And she's trembling because the area is fucking freezing.
Yeah. And then these two guys are talking about
dude with and this bigger dude with flashlights. And he's like, this is my friend Sloppy Joe. Gonna take you out on a night date and stuff. You want that? And she's like too shivering to answer. But the dude gives him money. Sloppy Joe takes her. Crap. Then we get Elliot finally waking up from his like dream, and he's remembering the promise that he made to Bunny. So he's literally, keep in mind, just got out of a coma like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, like,
Maybe.
he's stumbling around, trying to
stand up. He's stumbling around. He's hanging on his like IV thing.
Yeah.
Like how he isn't just falling over is beyond me.
Exactly. It's Elliot's day, but that's
then we transition to the bureau because Olivia is like, oh, I'm leaving to go have a debrief with your team. And so she's there and they're showing the Olivia all the like the markers of the girls. And Olivia is pretty much just like, how did we miss this?
Yeah. It's usually on top of things and they weren't this time.
And then all of a sudden her phone rings and she looks at the screen and she showed it to everybody and it's Stabler. And everyone's just like, oh, God.
It just says contact is Stabler. There's no they all collectively like sigh and they're like,
God.
They all collectively sigh. Like, man.
Fine. Answer.
Yeah, she puts him on speaker.
And then Ilana's like, what are you doing calling in?
Exactly. What are you doing?
And he's like, oh, I had to like check in on like on how it's going with Sad Eyes. And then Olivia's like, where are you? He's like laying down in bed. No.
He's lying. He's walking around, fumbling around over there. Because you can see him on the other side of me, like he's lying.
Yeah, like, no. Vargas again reiterates that there's potentially 20 victims potentially killed by 11 different men. So we got a ring of serial killer, truck driver, rapist people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then they find, he's like, oh, one of the guys that I found, the one with Bunny, he was called Teddy Bear. See if you can find anything on him. And it was his nickname. His actual name is like Theodore. I get the last name. It started with a B. And then Reyes is like, yeah, he's got 2 charges for lewd acts with a minor. And then I don't know what Belle was thinking. Because she's like, oh yeah, he's in the same hospital as you, like 3 doors down.
And I feel like, what did you tell him that?
Why are you telling him that? Because then the camera he's freaking unhooked his IV. Now he's walking around the hospital looking for this dude.
Yeah.
And
the hospital is the most incompetent I've ever seen. Because, like, realistically, they would not. Because realistically, they'd be like, no, go back to bed.
Like, he's slowly walking. You can hear his voice is tired. It's dragging. He's in a
really
hospital gown. No one is fucking questioning. He's walking around.
Exactly. Like, this is hospital incompetent here. Like,
and he has this teddy bear in his hand.
Somebody's been giving it to him. It was in his room initially.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, he goes to the front desk and he's like, oh, I was told my good friend Theodore is out surgery. I just don't know what room he's in. And she's like, oh, yeah.
Initially, she says no. Initially, she says he's not taking visitors.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, his kids are going to be really upset if I don't give this to him.
She won't budge. He's like, you know what the bathroom is? What's the bathroom excuse?
Yeah. And so he goes in the hallway, waits for the bathroom, and he waits till he hears the nurse tell the other nurse to give the teddy bear to room 04. And so he's literally in the hallway. The woman with the teddy bear now walks past him.
Yeah, she's not paying attention to him. Like,
nothing. And so when the coast is clear, he goes into the room and immediately covers the guy's mouth. He's like, shut up. Stop it.
But he's like, I'll scream. And he's like, no, you won't.
And he's like, fine, I'll back away, but we gotta talk. We find out that he's friends with this guy named Lugnut, which is another trucker. Which we find out is the dude that was with Sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
The one who kidnapped Sad Eyes. And the guy is pretty much like, he gives
He doesn't want
Elliot
to.
like the bare minimum, and he's like, "Look,
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know. I got
like,
beat up, but I don't know about some girl. I got some beat up by somebody. I don't know."
exactly, he's not talking.
And Elliot's
I don't
like,
know if the guy's aware that it actually is him or not, but you never know.
"Yeah, we don't. That was not clear." And then he calls Reyes and explains what he got, and Reyes is
Yeah.
like, "Shit, the less I know, the better. What do you got on that fucker?" And it's like,
Yeah.
they're so fucking nonchalantly just swearing. It's so funny.
It's different. It's like when you watch Criminal Minds 3 with Crystal One and they start, so you're like, but
And
anyway,
so
it feels
then
like that same energy as well.
while he is on the phone,
He starts getting woozy. He's getting the woozy lane.
and he literally passes out.
Yeah, he's on the floor and no.
And he has another dream. It's literally like a fucking horror movie
Yeah,
because it's him walking in the morgue and he looks and he sees Bunny on the morgue.
yeah,
And as that's happening, and he's like in his hallucination being like, "The girl, where's the girl?"
yeah.
They say, "Oh, he's probably," the two doctors are talking and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
he's
the girl
probably
came in
talking
with.
the girl he came in with." And they go, "She was in a coma. They took her off life support an hour ago."
Yeah,
Or so unfortunately, Bunny is dead.
yeah. We do it for one episode, and we really liked her. And that's
Yeah.
1.5 episodes.
An episode.
We'll talk about like since you still see Bunny, but we'll talk more about
And
that.
then we get Elliot back in his house.
Olivia,
And
yeah,
Olivia
Olivia's in there.
and she's like,
She's like, "What are you?"
"Where are
She didn't get to
you?"
swear. She doesn't get to swear, of course.
No, she
But
doesn't get to swear, unfortunately, because she's probably an SBU. So probably can't. But anyway, she's like, where? She walks in, the hospital bed is empty.
he's
She's
trying
like,
to put on his.
"Where
At
are
first,
you?"
she probably thinks he's dead because this kind of thing with the hospital bed's empty too. He's putting on his pants. Is what he's actually doing in the corner. And she's like, "What are you doing?"
And he's like, "You would have been trying to do the same thing." And she walks
Yeah,
over to him and she like puts a hand on his face. She's like, "Why you gotta be so difficult?"
exactly. Like, sit down.
And she's like, "Liv, sitting in the hospital bed, that will kill me." And then she's like, and then he goes, "And you can either so you can either start your car or stand there and watch me get naked." And it's like,
It's cringe.
ew.
That's a very cringe thing. But I didn't like
You don't just say that to your friends.
your friend. Clearly.
And so at first, Olivia turns around. And then she has another thing to say, and she turns back around. It's like, "No, what are you doing? Turn around."
Like, it was very odd.
And yeah, and then like he's literally like about to start undressing while she's there, and she like brushes out of the room. Like, dude, that's sexual harassment. Just saying.
Just literally just saying.
So then they're in her car, and we do get official confirmation that Bunny died
Yeah.
2 days
Like, why
ago.
didn't you tell me? Yeah.
And she's like, didn't think it was the best idea, but you want me to say I'm sorry?
Exactly. I wasn't gonna tell you then. Like,
She's like, "I want you to tell me it was a bad dream." Then we get
I go
Captain Ben.
interrogate it.
We get an interrogation with the two of them.
Nothing
And he
exciting.
walks in and like, "Oh, you guys know each other." And I'm like, they're starting to realize, shit, he's not who he says he is.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the brothers, and according to the brothers, it was literally only Vic that was doing the trafficking. The other two were just worried about the illicit substances. And he's like showing them pictures of the Polaroid pictures of all the girls that they got. And they're pretty much like, "We're helping them get on their feet." And Olivia's like, "You're helping them by pimping them out." And then the guy is like, "This one's an addict. This one's got 4 kids and an addict. This one was out of jail, addict. Like, nobody's gonna hire them." So I'm giving them a job. And then Leah looks in the window of the interrogation room and he sees Bunny. And it's like, oh great, this kid's gonna fucking haunt him. And
because you can kind of tell Elliot's not fully okay. He's kind of like leaning against the wall. He sit down, you know. We know he's not good.
Obviously, dude should probably still be in the hospital.
Yeah, but he's not.
So they're like, oh, well, looks like we arrested Mother Teresa, since at least you're not, you know, doing the worst shit. And so then they go in and they're like, where's Sad Eyes? Also known as Luis Diaz. Where is she? Yeah. And so they get told that he was with Lugnut, who is the guy from the promo and everything. And so now they have their target. So then they get info that there's going to be a swap meet for truckers where they can basically swap whatever they want. Food.
Literally, I mean, whatever. Hearts, girls. I think that's what Rhea says, like hearts, girls.
Yeah. And it's like, great. So, and Olivia's full on wants to help. She's like, I'm not leaving. And Yana was like, thank you for your help. And she's like, oh, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm coming too. Because they're about to go do a sting. She's
use me at your disposal.
Yeah, she's going in with them.
So Belle is like, okay, Reyes, Vargas, surveillance van, and for the four of us. And then, as we saw in the promo, this is when Jet goes undercover in the blonde wig and the very short but hot, cute outfit. And am I allowed to show pictures?
Yes. Just no audio. You tend to be claimed for audio. So
they're because Ainsley's short hair, so they put a blonde wig on her, and then there's the outfit. I feel like she would wear the gloves on a regular basis. The like finger lace gloves.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if all of this shit came from her closet. Just saying.
Like, you got something you can wear for this,
Yeah, yes, I do. That's probably all from her closet. So they're walking around, and Elliot's like, damn, this is like Dante's Inferno meets Coney Island.
Because it's busy. If you don't know what Dante's Inferno is, it is a story about the 9 circles of hell. And then basically what he says, basically like the sin matches the center. It's kind of what happens in these like 9 circles of hell.
And then so he's talking, and he's like, he has like Reyes and Jet in his ear, and he's like, okay, Reyes, Jet, where are you? And Jet's like 30 feet behind you. And then the camera transitions to Jet in her undercover outfit, stumbling around the lot. So basically she's being like one of the either like a drunk or like the addict girl. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't go 30 seconds without guys whistling and staring at her. Yep. Fun. So she's walking around. Reyes, though, is literally right on her tail.
Exactly. He's being careful,
Which, good, because, yay. But also, dude.
Just making sure she got backup.
Fucking punch anybody, please.
Yeah, well.
And then so she's walking around, and she meets up with, she sees, like, this group of guys playing cards.
And she's kind of asking, like, hey, you know who this is? You know who this guy is?
Yeah, and they're not. And then the guys just like, are you lost, honey? And I was like, okay, maybe he's okay. Maybe you're okay.
No, nobody in this place.
I will say he was the tamest out of all of them.
Yeah, the rest of them were kind of disgusting. They were honest.
Yeah, he was the tamest out of all of them. And she's like, my date's playing hide and seek on me. She's like leaning against the tent. And they're like, okay, who's your date? And she's like, Lug. And then all the guys immediately are like, oh, that's me. No, that's me. That's me. And then one of them is like, oh, why don't you sit right here and play a round of strip poker with us?
Like,
Jet trauma count, now up to 2. You. And you could, usually you would see, even, the teeniest bit of reaction. Jet's face is blank. And it's like, that's not good. What's up?
Yeah.
And then, so she leaves the guys. And then we see the guy who kidnapped Sad Eyes go to talk to her. And he's like, oh, I know where Lug is. I'll take you to him. And I will say this.
He is him, but he didn't say that.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I had to show the pictures because, so this is her against the tent, listening to these guys. And then when they make the comments, you could see her eyes go wide a little. They just fucking said that to me. And then cute little Ainsley smile when she's like, oh, talking to the guy. And he's like, oh, I found him. And she's like, hey, yeah. And so she starts following the guy. And Reyes starts to try to follow her.
Yeah.
Reyes is stalking.
He starts walking.
Guy.
He's like, I know you. And he's like, you're a cop. And you're like,
he's like, oh, I know you. And he's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
He's like, oh, you're friends with Lenny from down the. And it's like, no. And he's like,
you're a cop.
He's like, you're a cop. And it's like, what? Shit.
We're busted. You gotta stop talking.
It's like, literally, his voice is getting deeper and darker. And he's like, shut. He's like, shut up. Man, shut up.
Because this guy's screaming. He's like, I'm here, oh my.
He finally breaks away. But then he starts looking around the area and he's like, guys,
I lost
eyes on Jet. I lost eyes on Jet. So Jet is now alone with this crazy guy. And he brings her to this truck. And we see her just standing there for a minute. And like they showed in the promo, we see the reflection in the truck mirror. The guy taking out this chain thing.
That was a chain or a rope. It's hard to tell because it goes by really quickly.
Neck and starting to choke her. Keep in mind, this literally the squad's like, crap, Jet's in trouble. Keep in mind, they're all literally in the fucking surveillance van when they hear this happening. So they're like, shit. They need to go find her now because not only does he start choking her, he throws her body, her very tiny body, into the truck multiple times. I will say, and I like that they did this. She manages to, even though he's literally choking, she manages to fight back and is able to kick him where it hurts and get away. Which, good, because it shows that she's stronger than she looks. Also, it showed that she was able to save herself and didn't need the guy doing it.
Yep.
Problem is, she is completely gasping for air. It is. You can tell she's visibly shaken. Jet trauma count 3.
Yeah, really.
And Elliot's checking on her, and I'm like, this is where I get annoyed. Often, when Olivia finds people like this, she goes near them, but she doesn't touch them.
Yeah.
Elliot immediately goes right up to Jet, puts his hands on his arms. Are you okay? Are you okay? Dude, she was literally just nearly fucking attacked by a man. She doesn't need another one touching her right now.
Exactly.
She's fucking shaken. It's bad. They arrest the dude. He's bleeding. So yes, Jet.
Yeah, another person is bleeding.
Yeah, Jet made Mark. And then all of a sudden, they're like, we need to, he's not telling them where Elliot's like asking where Sada is, and she's like, she's with my friend Sloppy Joe, and
They don't.
Fires
He won't say where that is.
is not having it, and fucking like slams the guy before
They're like,
arresting.
where?
And then Elliot again, because Jet still has not moved from her spot. She's like, "Are you okay? Are you sure? Are you sure you're all right?" And she's like, "Yes, I'm fine." But not like in a "yes, I'm fine" tone, more like "stop
Okay, stop
asking me."
asking. Kind of yeah.
The man says that he's with his friend in his workshop. So
And
then they
what does
go
that mean?
look for her. Keep in mind, the Jet was literally attacked not even 30 seconds ago, and then all of a sudden is following Stabler to go find this dude. Still in the undercover outfit. All of a sudden Elliot hears noises. And he looks at Jet and he's like, draw your weapon. And Jet, being the badass that she is, literally has her gun under her skirt in like this waistband thing on her thigh. You go, girl. They open the like it's like this
It kind of looks like another like trailer kind of thing.
thing.
Like a box trailer kind of thing.
And they see Louisa nailed to the wall.
Well, she's not nailed to the wall. She's like chained
to be nailed to the wall because the guy
nailed
chained to the wall.
Not even like a regular nail. We're talking about like the industrial
like she's bleeding, she's crying, she's scared. The guy sees Elliot and Jet and they instantly start having a shootout.
This guy with the nail gun with them with
their actual guns.
Yeah.
Jet, instantly forgetting what she just went through 30 seconds ago, runs over to Louisa and she's like, "Louisa, I'm a police officer," and then helps down. It's like, yes, always she's so good at her job. And then all of a sudden we see Elliot slinking,
kind of slouched. He slouches over.
We see that the guy is dead. Sloppy Joe is dead.
Yeah. He's got 5 bullet holes in him.
So looking at him. And then we see Elliot like kind of slouching down a bit.
And then the wall. And he kind of lands near like his
blood on his shirt. And Jet sees and she immediately rushes over to him. So now we're at trauma count. Jet trauma count 4.
He's got a nail. He's got an industrial nail. We're saying like
4 and 5. 4 seeing Louisa
in the same 2 episodes. The only 2 episodes in, y'all. I don't know how we're going.
Getting shot. Literally, it is 5 things that has happened to Jet in 1 fucking episode.
This was a lot. Okay, so he's got this. The nail is literally like sticking out of his stomach. Like the nail, and he's bleeding. Is like
and so then we go to the hospital, and Elliot is having another dream.
Back to the hospital. They're probably like, that man's back again. That man that they're probably like, man, that same dude's back again.
Just here. Yeah. He's having another dream that Olivia is at his side, but then she runs off and he's like calling out for her and he wakes up.
She does not come back.
Not there. She does not come back. It's Bernie.
Yeah. His mom.
Well, makes sense. It's his mom. And she's like trying to make sure he's okay. And like you could see like she looks like she's about to cry, but is trying to stop herself from crying. And she goes, "I was taught not to cry. First with your father, then with you. I was told it makes things harder for cops." And it's like, oh, this poor woman. Then she goes on to say, "For 70 years, I was made to smile." And he's like, "Mom, that's like, Mama." He like hugs her and he's like, "It's okay. Just breathe."
Yeah.
Like, she said she was scared that Elliot was going to die one day, and now she's had 2 near messes with him in the span of a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's looking at him and she's like, "Did you have a bad dream?"
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and he's like, "Yeah, I've had a lot of them recently about things I've lost." So, okay, so there's that. Then we transition to the bureau, and Elliot's back already. And he's like cleaning up stuff on his desk.
Mm-hmm.
And Ayana walks out of her office, and Elliot's like, "Did you talk to Jet?" And Ayana's like, "Yes." And now here's where I get fucking concerned. Because they said that they both understand Jet's gonna need time after this. Like,
Yeah.
brutally attacked
Yeah. So
by a serial killer rapist. Like, yeah, you're gonna need time. But this is where I got concerned. Ayana says she understands she's in a bad place and said she needs some time. How long has she been in this bad place? Like, is it just from the
probably not.
five
Probably
things
not.
this happened to her, or what else is going on?
And this one of them. I mean, we have a whole bunch of things from previous that she probably never told anybody or talked
Yeah,
about. So,
true. And then she goes on and says, Ayana goes on and says, "I just hope she gets the help she needs and is able to make her way back to us." I'm sorry, are you telling me I have to watch my favorite show without my favorite person for I don't know how long?
yeah, because TV streaming shows are
No!
difficult to
This is
find
literally,
anything else about.
literally, we get 10 fucking episodes
Like, that's all we
only.
get.
I
Exactly.
don't watch for Chris. I watch for Ainsley. I watch for Danielle. I watch for Rick. I watch for Dean. If Ainsley's gone, I don't want to do it.
Well, we'll find out. Well, next week, the one we might be excited about. Well, I don't know. We're going to watch next week. Next week, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Anyway, so we don't know what's happening with Jet. We know she's taking time off, rightfully so.
Yeah.
They was fucking
Sure, it's
long.
kind of a weird thing about time. So who knows what actually how long time is in Artist Comic? Who knows?
It was a fucking lot. I already like threw my phone a bunch of times today.
But Ayana tells Elliot to go home and salute your son.
And yeah, she's like, "Yeah, go home and salute your son." And then she puts a picture in front of him.
She's like, "Oh, by the way, they found this in your pocket. The DA didn't know this was incriminating or not, but here it is."
Jeez. Okay. And it's a picture, the Polaroid picture of Bunny. And then she's like, "Oh, and then this." And it's the necklace.
Yeah.
From the dream. So he had it all along.
Yeah. This is in your pocket.
And it's like, okay.
She's like, "What are we gonna do with this?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take it."
So
the next episode might be the one he goes sees the priest, the one they introduced the promo with, where he's
probably
the priest, I feel
like they literally end the episode with him head in his hands, the ghost of the little girl behind him.
Behind. Yeah. And that's how it ends.
Yeah. So this one gets 4 stars because of the more Jet stuff.
That's generous here. I said 3.5. It dragged through the ringer it dragged until the last like 10 minutes.
It doesn't get any higher because I don't know what's happening with my girl. Also, every time she has to go undercover, she has to get fucking hurt.
Like, we're not going through this like literally. Like, we gotta get some new plot lines. Like, it's very boring. Like, it dragged through the ringer a little too long for real.
All the time. Just saying.
Yeah. I have to be a critic about the fact that like
I said, we do know that they're doing things outside of the show because Ainsley literally posted a picture of them behind the scenes of a short film.
Yeah, so they did one in the summer. Maybe not the summer, a little later than the summer.
Another one around there. So we got like 2 coming up, but it's like just
gotta make that money somehow.
When do I get my girl back? That's all I need to know. I mean, no. Do I need does she need to be at the courthouse shoot out?
Probably not.
No. Because if I have to have Creasy there too, I'm not gonna be handled.
Yeah, speaking of that, that is the next one. Because you all remember that y'all remember that the first half of the last season was about the Italian, not they were Italian, but the gang, the episode. Okay, I barely can remember these episodes, but like the one with the gang member had the two kids, and then the son ended up shooting Belle, that family. Yeah, that's where those people are the ones that are going to court, and apparently it's not going to go too smoothly. So that is what that is about. So Carisi will be there because I feel like sometimes organized crime just kind of pulls out anybody they can to get some views. So they have Carisi there.
I need a lawyer. Okay, we're gonna take you.
Yeah, they needed a lawyer. They already knew they weren't going to go broke.
Yeah,
so that will be next week. What time? I don't know. That's the thing about organized crime is there's week comes out. I don't know what time it.
Now the thing is, do I go back and do I watch the scene again?
Probably
going to. It's what I do.
Be overanalyzed to be better prepared for.
And then we'll write stuff because God, I have ideas now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that
Yeah.
I know this is the I know this is the OC episode, but
there's a lot of good pictures that they posted a lot of behind the scenes pictures of the crossover tonight.
Yay. They so handsome.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Why is everybody on these shows just fucking hot?
So we are big. The crossover is in a couple hours. Actually, not like 6 hours.
Like seriously, they look good as blonde and black hair. Like,
okay, no, but it looks good.
Anyway, that's it. Let's figure out what's going on with the next episode next time.
You all so what happened for our purposes? So you all will get this episode this week, and you will not get another organized crime episode for 2 weeks because we're gonna put two together and do two at a time. So we'll do two at a time. We'll do them two at a time. So you will not get OC next week. You'll get one the week after because that makes our lives a little easier with responsibilities.
But who knows when we'll see them?
Yeah, because we have I don't have any information. I think we do have to. 4 is about Reyes. 4 is heavy Reyes. Reyes Carisi. I don't know anything else past them. So,
and we know that there is an episode coming up that Reyes is going undercover.
Yeah, that's the one. 4 is that one. So 3 is the.
Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. I think we're up. I think they have information up until 4. So. Let me check real quick just to make sure I didn't miss it. Just to make sure. I look at this account more than I should, but it gives me the information for OC, so it's okay. They posted a lot of clips, so I gotta find where they posted that information. Okay, here we go. No. I wish it was easier to find stuff on Twitter, but it is not all the time. Okay, the 553 is the one that's coming up. 4 is Stabler works with Isabella. I don't know who Isabella is to reveal who is behind the Kimura. Before there's an all-out war, Reyes goes undercover with Los Santos as they seek revenge. That's 4. That'll be on May 1st.
Is that it?
That's 4. Yeah, 3 is the one that's coming up after an attack on one of Carisi's trials. Signs of a new player of New York City gang scene drive Stabler to contact an old CI from Italy to question the motives of one of their current ones. So that's next week. So have fun, I guess. We may not have fun.
Did they post it?
I have to go further back to find it on the Millennium Project. The information that's as far as
I was looking for something else.
Yeah, so they cross over tonight.
Hold on, I have it somewhere. I have it. Where'd it go?
I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, they changed.
Yeah.
And his picture in the intro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, I think that's everything. I'm gonna go
That's it.
watch that scene again and try not to cry
I'm gonna go
again.
eat a snack and then
I should probably do that after too.
that's it.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.